Chosen one, listen to me carefully. I have an important and urgent message to share today, and this message is not for everyone. This message is only for those who are truly walking the divine path of God. If you are not serious about your faith, if you are only curious, distracted, or playing with spirituality, this is not for you. You can leave now. But if you are a true follower of God, if your spirit feels stirred right now, then understand this clearly. This message was meant to find you. This did not reach you by accident. It reached you at the exact moment God decided you were ready. And yes, what you are about to hear has the power to change your inner life completely. Chosen one, God wants you to merge with the source. He is calling you beyond noise, beyond fear, beyond striving. He is inviting you back into His presence, not as a visitor, but as one who abides. Stay with me till the very end, because what I will share today will bring clarity to your confusion, peace to your restless mind, and strength to your spirit in a way you may have never experienced before. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones so they too can receive this divine alignment, and comment 777 below to declare that you are ready to walk in full alignment with God's will. What the source really is, beyond religion, into presence. Now listen carefully, chosen one, because this is where many people misunderstand God. When I speak about the source, I am not introducing something new, strange, or outside Christianity. I am bringing you back to what was always there but slowly forgotten. The source is not a concept. The source is not a philosophy. The source is not a feeling you chase during worship and then lose again. The source is the living, breathing presence of God Himself. Many believers know God with their mind, but very few live connected to Him with their inner being. They know scriptures, prayers, songs, and traditions. But knowing about God and being connected to God are not the same thing. And this is where the exhaustion comes from. This is where confusion begins. This is where chosen ones start wondering why they still feel empty even though they believe, pray, and try their best. The source is the place where effort stops and presence begins. When Jesus said, "Abide in me and I in you," He was not speaking poetry. He was describing a state of being. He was pointing toward union, toward connection, toward what I am calling the source. The source is God's Spirit flowing into your spirit without resistance. It is God not just above you, but within you, guiding, strengthening, correcting, and comforting you from the inside. Religion teaches many people how to approach God. The source teaches you how to remain with Him. Chosen one, this is important. You were never designed to live disconnected. You were never meant to constantly reach upward while feeling empty inward. That tension you have felt for years, that silent tiredness in your soul, that sense that something is missing even when everything looks fine on the outside, that is not weakness. That is a signal that you were created for union, not distance. The source is where fear loses its grip, because fear cannot survive where God's presence is steady. Anxiety fades there, not because life becomes perfect, but because your inner anchor becomes unshakable. When you are connected to the source, circumstances no longer control your inner state. That is why God is calling you there now. Many chosen ones confuse emotions with connection. They think if they don't feel spiritual, then God must be far. But the source is deeper than emotion. Emotions rise and fall. The source remains. God's presence does not come and go. What comes and goes is your awareness of Him. And this is where distraction plays its role. Noise pulls you outward. Trauma pulls you inward in unhealthy ways. Disappointment teaches you to guard your heart too tightly. Slowly, without realizing it, you begin to live from the surface of yourself instead of the depth where God dwells. You still believe, you still pray, but you are no longer resting in Him. You are striving for Him. Chosen one, God never asked you to strive for Him. He asked you to walk with him. The source is not something you earn. It is something you return to, like a child returning home after wandering too far, thinking they had to survive alone. The moment you turn back, you realize the door was never closed. You just stopped sitting inside. This is why chosen ones often feel different from others. You sense God more deeply, so disconnection hurts you more deeply. Others can live distracted and feel fine. You cannot, because you were designed to operate from the source. Your peace, clarity, and strength are not optional luxuries. They are necessities for your calling. And let me tell you something gently but firmly. God is not disappointed in you for feeling disconnected. He is not angry with you for drifting. He understands. He sees how life pulled at you, how responsibilities weighed on you, how wounds changed you. That is why he is calling you now, not with condemnation, but with invitation. The source is where healing begins without force, where clarity comes without overthinking, where obedience feels natural, not heavy. When you are connected to the source, you don't have to ask God to speak louder. You become quieter. And in that quietness, his voice becomes clear. This is also why the world feels overwhelming lately. Not because you are weak, but because you are sensitive to spiritual imbalance. When you are disconnected from the source, the world's chaos feels louder. When you are merged with the source, the same world exists, but it no longer controls you. Chosen one, the source is not somewhere you go. It is someone you stay with. God is not calling you to learn more. He is calling you to return deeper, to stop running on spiritual fumes, to stop surviving on past encounters, to stop treating his presence as an occasional visit instead of a permanent dwelling. You were not created to visit the presence of God. You were created to live there. And as we go deeper, you will begin to understand why this call is happening now, why your life has been shifting, and why God is gently but firmly pulling you back into himself. Stay with me. What comes next will help you make sense of everything you've been feeling but couldn't explain. Why God is calling you to merge now. The timing is not random. Chosen one, I want you to understand this deeply. God never moves without purpose, and he never calls without timing. What you are experiencing right now did not come out of nowhere. The inner shifts, the restlessness, the silence, the questions, even the confusion you couldn't explain, none of it is random. This is not a delay. This is not punishment. This is preparation. God is calling you to merge with the source now because this season requires a deeper level of alignment than you have ever walked in before. There are moments in life when belief is enough, and then there are moments when belief alone will no longer sustain you. You have reached that point. You are no longer meant to survive on inspiration, emotion, or borrowed faith. God is calling you into union because what lies ahead of you cannot be handled with surface-level connection. You may have noticed something changing inside you. Things that once excited you no longer do. Conversations feel shallow, noise feels heavy, even success feels empty at times. And you wondered, what is wrong with me? Let me tell you clearly, nothing is wrong with you. You are outgrowing the old way of relating to God. Chosen ones are always called inward before they are sent outward. God pulls you away before he positions you. He quiets you before he empowers you. He empties you before he fills you. This is not withdrawal. This is divine focus. Many people misunderstand this phase. They think God has gone silent. They think prayers are not working anymore. They think something is broken. But silence is not absence. Silence is attention. God is reducing external noise so you can finally hear him without distortion. This is why isolation shows up in the life of the chosen. Not loneliness, but separation. Separation from distractions. Separation from draining attachments. Separation from identities that no longer fit. God is not removing people to hurt you. He is removing interference so the merge can happen cleanly. You see, merging with the source cannot happen in chaos. It requires space. It requires honesty. It requires surrender. and surrender cannot be rushed. That heaviness you felt lately, that emotional fatigue that didn't match your circumstances, that was your soul signaling misalignment. You were still walking forward, but you were no longer fully plugged in. And God loves you too much to let you keep operating on low connection. So He interrupted your flow. He slowed things down. He allowed confusion. He allowed discomfort. Not to break you, but to redirect you. This is how God gets the attention of His chosen, without destroying them. Chosen one, let me say something bold and true. If you were not chosen, you would not feel this pull. Others can live disconnected and never notice. You cannot, because your spirit remembers the source even when your mind forgets it. This call is happening now because your next assignment demands clarity, and clarity only comes from union. Your next level requires peace, and peace only comes from merging. Your next responsibility requires discernment, and discernment only flows when you are deeply connected. God is not preparing you for something small. That is why the old patterns had to break. That is why certain doors closed without explanation. That is why you felt misunderstood. God was stripping away dependence on things that could not go where He is taking you. This timing is also connected to healing. You cannot carry unresolved wounds into higher levels of authority. God is gentle, but He is precise. Before He trusts you with more, He wants you restored within. Merging with the source is not just about power. It is about wholeness. It is about alignment between who you are and who He created you to be. Some of the pain you experienced recently was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to expose what still needed healing. When you are merged with the source, healing does not require force. It happens naturally, because God's presence corrects what effort cannot. And let me address something important. If you feel behind in life, like others are moving faster, understand this. God does not rush His chosen. He deepens them. Speed without connection leads to collapse. Depth with connection leads to endurance. This season may feel slower, but it is more powerful than you realize. God is calling you to merge now because you are ready. Not perfect. Ready. Ready to stop pretending. Ready to stop striving. Ready to stop carrying everything alone. Ready to let Him lead from the inside. You didn't miss your moment. You are in it. The reason this message reached you now is because your spirit was already responding to the call. God is simply confirming what has been stirring within you. Confirmation always follows obedience of the heart. Chosen one, the merge is not coming later. It has already begun. The awareness is increasing. The pull is strengthening. And as you continue listening, you will begin to recognize the signs that God has been drawing you closer all along. In the next part, I will help you identify those signs clearly so you can stop doubting yourself and start trusting what God is already doing within you. Stay with me. Signs you are already being pulled into the source. Chosen one, I want you to relax your mind for a moment, because what I'm about to say will remove a lot of unnecessary self-doubt. Many of you have been questioning yourselves lately. You've been asking quietly, am I really chosen? Am I imagining this? Why do I feel so different from before? These questions are not signs of weakness. They are signs that the merge has already started. God does not pull His chosen suddenly. He draws them gently, and the signs are subtle, but very real. One of the first signs is this. You no longer enjoy the things that once distracted you. What used to excite you now feels empty. Conversations that revolve around gossip, ego, or surface-level ambition drain you instead of entertaining you. You may still participate outwardly, but inwardly, something feels off. This is not arrogance. This is not judgment. This is alignment shifting. Your spirit is recalibrating. Another sign is an increasing desire for silence. Not loneliness. Silence. You crave moments where there is no performance, no explaining, no noise. You may find yourself sitting quietly, not even praying with words, just being still. And strangely, Those moments feel more fulfilling than long conversations ever did. That is the source pulling you inward. Many chosen ones experience emotional purging during this phase. Old memories resurface. Feelings you thought were healed come back briefly. You may cry without knowing exactly why. Do not resist this. When the source draws near, whatever cannot stay must rise to be released. God is not reopening wounds to hurt you. He is cleaning what has been buried too deep for surface healing. You may also notice heightened spiritual sensitivity. You sense shifts in atmosphere. You feel uneasy in certain environments without logical reasons. Some people suddenly feel heavy to be around. Others feel peaceful. This is discernment awakening. When you are disconnected, everything feels neutral. When you are reconnecting, your spirit begins to recognize what aligns and what does not. Another sign is that your tolerance for pretending has vanished. You can no longer wear masks comfortably. You don't want to exaggerate, impress, or explain yourself anymore. You want truth. You want authenticity. Even with God, you may find yourself unable to pray religious prayers anymore. You speak plainly, honestly, sometimes even silently. That is not disrespect. That is intimacy forming. Chosen one, pay attention to this. Your relationship with time changes. You become less rushed. You still have responsibilities, but your inner urgency decreases. The constant anxiety about what's next starts to loosen its grip. This happens because when the source begins to draw you in, your spirit remembers that God is in control, even when your mind hasn't fully caught up yet. You may also feel misunderstood more than ever. People who once related to you no longer seem to get you. Your priorities confuse them. Your calm unsettles them. Your boundaries frustrate them. This is painful, yes, but it is also confirmation. When God draws you closer, not everyone can walk at that depth with you. Let me say this gently. Isolation is not rejection when God is involved. It is refinement. He is not removing love from your life. He is removing distortion. The merge requires clarity, and clarity cannot coexist with constant interference. Another powerful sign is that striving feels exhausting now. You can no longer push the way you used to. Hustle drains you. Forcing outcomes leaves you empty. This is not laziness. This is your soul rejecting a system that no longer fits. God is teaching you a new way of operating, from presence instead of pressure. Some of you have also noticed changes in how you handle conflict. You don't react the same. You don't argue to win. You don't defend yourself as aggressively. You observe more. You withdraw sooner. That is not weakness. That is wisdom forming. When the source becomes your anchor, you no longer need external validation. You may even feel a strange mixture of peace and uncertainty at the same time. Peace without clear answers. Calm without full direction. This confuses the logical mind. But this is exactly how faith deepens. God is teaching you to trust His presence more than your plans. Chosen one, here is a very important sign that many overlook. You are drawn to messages like this, not out of curiosity, but resonance. Something inside you says, "This is for me." That recognition is not random. It is spiritual memory awakening. If you were not being pulled into the source, you would scroll past this. You would feel bored. You would feel nothing. The fact that your spirit is attentive right now is proof enough. Let me assure you of something very clearly. You are not losing yourself. You are returning to yourself. The real you. The one that existed before pressure, before wounds, before expectations shaped you. God is not dismantling your life. He is reorganizing it from the inside out. These signs are not meant to scare you. They are meant to comfort you, to let you know that you are not broken, behind, or confused. You are responding to a divine pull that was placed inside you long before you were aware of it. And in the next part, I will explain something crucial. what it truly means to merge with the source, and why this surrender does not take anything away from you, but gives you back everything that matters. Stay with me. You are exactly where you need to be. What it means to merge. Surrender without losing yourself. Chosen one, this is where many people become afraid, so I want you to listen slowly and carefully. When they hear the word merge, they imagine loss. They imagine disappearance. They imagine giving up their identity, their will, their uniqueness. That fear does not come from God. It comes from misunderstanding. Merging with the source does not mean you stop being you. It means you finally become who you were always meant to be. God never erases identity. He refines it. He does not silence your voice. He aligns it. He does not weaken your will. He synchronizes it with His. True surrender is not collapse. It is cooperation. Let me say this plainly. If merging meant losing yourself, God would never ask it of His chosen. The problem is that many people confuse surrender with submission born of fear. That is not what God desires. God does not want servants who shrink. He wants sons and daughters who stand firmly in Him. Merging with the source is not about becoming smaller. It is about becoming steady. When you are not merged, your identity depends on circumstances, on approval, on success, on stability. When you are merged, your identity is anchored. You know who you are even when everything around you shifts. This is why Jesus lived with such quiet authority. He did not rush. He did not panic. He did not explain Himself to everyone. He moved with certainty because He was not operating from effort. He was operating from union. When He said, "I and the Father are one," He was not claiming dominance. He was expressing alignment. That is the model. Chosen one, merging begins when you stop resisting God's leading internally. Many believers obey outwardly but resist inwardly. They pray, but they hold control. They listen, but they negotiate. They believe, but they don't rest. Merging happens when that inner resistance softens. This does not happen overnight, and it does not happen through force. Surrender is not something you do once. It is something you practice daily, in small moments, in choices, in reactions, in how you respond when things don't go your way. When you are merged, you no longer ask, "What do I want?" versus "What does God want?" Because the gap between the two begins to close. Your desires become clearer, not because you suppress them, but because God reshapes them. This is where many chosen ones misunderstand God's will. They think God wants to take away joy, ambition, or passion. No, God wants to remove distortion. He wants to free you from desires that drain you and replace them with desires that sustain you. Merging with the source is where inner conflict dissolves. Have you noticed how tired internal conflict makes you? Wanting one thing but fearing another. Believing one truth but acting another way. Merging brings coherence. Your thoughts, emotions, and spirit begin to move in the same direction. That alone brings immense peace. Let me tell you something important. Control is exhausting, and many chosen ones are tired not because life is hard, but because they are trying to manage everything without full trust. Merging does not remove responsibility. It removes unnecessary pressure. You still act, you still choose, but you act from clarity, not anxiety. Another fear people have is this: if I fully surrender, what if God takes me somewhere I don't want to go? That fear assumes God is less loving than you are. It assumes He does not know your limits. That is not truth. God does not drag His chosen. He guides them. When you are merged, you don't lose discernment. You gain it. You don't stop thinking. You think more clearly. You don't stop feeling. You feel more deeply, but with stability. This is why surrender feels scary before it happens and peaceful after it happens. Think of it this way. When you are swimming against a strong current, your muscles burn. The moment you align your body with the current and move with it, the water supports you. You are still moving. You are just not fighting reality anymore. That is merging. God's presence does not overpower you. It carries you. Chosen one, ego is often misunderstood in spiritual spaces. Ego is not confidence. Ego is the need to protect yourself constantly. Ego exists because something inside you does not feel safe. When you merge with the source, safety is restored, and ego slowly relaxes. You don't have to prove anymore. You don't have to compare anymore. You don't have to defend yourself all the time, not because you became passive, but because you became secure. This is why merging creates quiet strength. People may not understand you during this phase. They may say you have changed, and they are right. You have changed your center. You no longer operate from fear, reaction, or urgency. You operate from presence. Presence is powerful. Presence calms rooms. Presence stabilizes chaos. Presence speaks even when words are few. When you are merged with the source, obedience does not feel heavy. It feels natural. You stop asking, is this God or is this me? Because alignment becomes intuitive, not perfect, but clear. Let me also address something very real. Merging does not mean you will never struggle again. It means struggle will no longer define you. You may still feel emotions. You may still face resistance, but you will no longer be ruled by them. And when you fall, you return faster, without shame, without hiding. God is not calling you to merge so he can control you. He is calling you to merge so he can flow through you without obstruction. You are not being asked to disappear. You are being asked to align. You are not being stripped. You are being rooted. You are not losing power. You are gaining authority that does not depend on noise. And in the next part, I will show you what begins to happen after this merge deepens. The peace, the clarity, the quiet authority that starts to shape your life from the inside out. Stay with me. You are not surrendering to emptiness. You are surrendering to fullness. What happens after the merge? Peace, authority, clarity. Chosen one, this is the part many people long for, but few truly understand. After the merge begins to settle, life does not suddenly become perfect. Problems do not vanish overnight. Responsibilities do not disappear. But you change, and because you change, everything else relates to you differently. The first thing that happens after the merge is peace, but not the fragile kind that depends on circumstances. This peace does not arrive with fireworks. It settles quietly. You notice it in how your chest feels lighter, in how your thoughts slow down, in how you no longer feel chased by urgency all the time. The mind that once ran in circles begins to rest. This peace does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop panicking. Before the merge, your peace came and went. One phone call could disturb it. One comment could shake it. One delay could steal it. After the merge, peace becomes your baseline. Emotions may still rise, but they no longer overthrow you. You feel them, but you are not drowned by them. This is how you know the source is active within you. The second thing that unfolds is clarity. Not answers to every question, but clarity about what truly matters. You stop obsessing over 10 directions at once. Your attention narrows naturally. You begin to sense where your energy belongs and where it does not. Decisions that once took weeks now take moments, not because you rush, but because confusion no longer clouds your inner vision. Clarity does not always tell you what will happen, it tells you what to do next, and that is enough. You also begin to notice a shift in how you interpret situations. Before, you reacted emotionally first and spiritually later. After the merge, you pause. There is space between what happens and how you respond. That space is sacred. It is where wisdom lives. Chosen one, that pause is not hesitation. It is discernment. Another thing that changes is your relationship with fear. Fear does not disappear completely, but it loses authority. It no longer commands your decisions. It may speak, but it no longer leads. You recognize it for what it is: information, not instruction. This is why courage begins to feel natural instead of forced. After the merge, you also experience a quiet form of authority. Not dominance, not control. Authority rooted in alignment. You no longer need to raise your voice to be heard. You no longer need to explain yourself endlessly. Your presence carries weight because it is grounded. People may feel calmer around you. Some may feel uncomfortable. Both reactions are normal. Peace exposes inner noise. Alignment reveals inner resistance. This authority also shows up in how you set boundaries. You stop over-explaining your no. You stop feeling guilty for choosing rest. You stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. Not because you became cold, but because you became clear. Clarity produces compassion with limits. One of the most healing effects of the merge is emotional regulation. You still feel deeply, but emotions no longer hijack you. Sadness passes without turning into despair. Joy flows without turning into attachment. Anger arises without turning into destruction. This balance is not emotional numbness, it is emotional maturity. Many chosen ones struggle because they feel deeply but lack grounding. The merge provides grounding. God's presence stabilizes the emotional body. You begin to trust your feelings without being ruled by them. Sleep often improves. Your body relaxes. Your nervous system calms. You may not realize how tense you were until you are not anymore. This is mental therapy in its purest form. Not suppression, but restoration. After the merge, striving decreases significantly. You still work, you still act, but effort feels cleaner. You are no longer pushing against invisible resistance. Things align more naturally. Doors open with less force. And when doors remain closed, you feel less disturbed by it. This is not passivity. It is trust in motion. Another subtle change is that intuition sharpens. You sense things before they happen. You pick up on underlying motives. You recognize patterns quickly. This is not mystical fantasy. This is awareness heightened by alignment. When the source flows freely, discernment becomes instinctive. You may also notice that your prayer life changes. You pray less from anxiety and more from communion. Fewer words, deeper presence. Sometimes prayer becomes silence, sometimes gratitude, sometimes simple honesty. And God responds, not always with words, but with inner assurance. This is where many chosen ones feel confused. They expect dramatic signs, but what they receive is steadiness, and steadiness is more powerful than excitement. Excitement fades, steadiness carries you. After the merge, obedience stops feeling heavy. You do not obey because you fear consequences. You obey because alignment feels right. Disobedience begins to feel uncomfortable not because of punishment, but because it disrupts inner peace. This is how God leads mature souls. You also stop seeking validation from every direction. Approval loses its grip. Criticism loses its sting. Praise becomes appreciated, not required. You begin to live from internal confirmation instead of external reinforcement. This is freedom. But let me be clear. The merge does not remove challenges. It changes how challenges shape you. Instead of breaking you, they refine you. Instead of confusing you, they clarify you. Instead of exhausting you, they strengthen you. You recover faster after setbacks. You return to center quicker. You do not spiral the way you used to. That alone is evidence of deep healing. Chosen one, the greatest gift after the merge is this. You stop feeling alone, even when you are physically alone. God's presence becomes companionship. Silence becomes comforting. Solitude becomes nourishing. You are no longer searching for something to fill you. You are filled, and from that fullness, you live. This does not mean you isolate yourself from the world. It means you engage the world without losing yourself. You give without depletion. You love without attachment. You serve without burnout. God flows through you instead of you pushing for Him. And here is the most important thing to understand. This state is not temporary, it deepens with consistency. The more you remain aware, the more natural it becomes. You do not fall out easily once you are rooted. In the next part, I will guide you on how to stay merged in a noisy world that constantly tries to pull you back into distraction and pressure, because alignment must be protected, not feared. Stay with me. What you are stepping into is not fragile. It is strong, stable, and sustainable. How to stay merged in a noisy world. Chosen one, this is where wisdom turns into practice. Many people experience moments of alignment, but few learn how to remain there. The world you live in is loud, demanding, constantly pulling at your attention. And if you are not intentional, it will slowly pull you back into pressure, reaction, and disconnection without you even noticing. Staying merged is not about escaping the world. It is about learning how to move through it without losing your center. The first thing you must understand is this: your attention is sacred. Whatever repeatedly holds your attention eventually shapes your inner state. Noise fragments awareness. Constant input keeps your spirit restless. God does not compete for attention. He waits for availability. That means you must choose daily what you allow to enter your inner space. This does not mean cutting yourself off completely. It means becoming selective. You begin to notice what drains you and what restores you. Some conversations leave you heavy. Some media leaves you anxious. Some environments agitate your spirit. Pay attention to that. Discernment is God's way of teaching you how to protect alignment. Chosen one, silence is no longer optional for you. It is medicine. You do not need hours of isolation. You need moments of intentional quiet. Even a few minutes of stillness, without distractions, allows your awareness to return to the source. Silence recalibrates you. It brings you back into presence. This is not inactivity. This is alignment maintenance. Prayer also changes when you stay merged. Prayer becomes less about asking and more about staying connected. You stop measuring prayer by words spoken and start recognizing it as communion. Sometimes prayer is gratitude. Sometimes it is listening. Sometimes it is simply acknowledging God's presence within you. You do not force prayer. You return to it naturally. Another key to staying merged is honest awareness. Pay attention to your inner reactions. When something disturbs your peace, don't suppress it. Observe it. Ask quietly, what just pulled me out of alignment? This is not self-criticism. This is self-understanding. Most disconnection happens subtly, not through sin or rebellion, but through overload. Too much thinking, too much comparison, too much urgency. Awareness interrupts that cycle before it deepens. Boundaries also become essential. When you are merged, you learn that saying yes to everything is a form of self-abandonment. You do not owe constant access to everyone. You do not need to explain every decision. Protecting your inner space is not selfish. It is stewardship. God does not ask you to burn yourself out for others. He asks you to stay aligned so you can serve without depletion. Chosen one, another important practice is choosing response over reaction. Reaction pulls you outward. Response keeps you grounded. When something unexpected happens, pause before responding. Even a brief pause allows the source to guide your words, tone, and direction. This is how wisdom speaks through you instead of emotion. You will also notice that staying merged requires letting go of constant validation. The more you check how others perceive you, the more you disconnect from how God is leading you. Alignment deepens when you trust inner confirmation more than external approval. This does not mean you ignore feedback. It means you no longer depend on it for identity. There will be days when you feel slightly off. Do not panic. Alignment is not perfection. It is return. When you notice disconnection, gently return to presence. No guilt, no overthinking, just awareness and recentering. God does not withdraw because you drift momentarily. He waits for your attention. One powerful way to stay merged is gratitude. Gratitude grounds you in the present. It shifts focus from lack to sufficiency. Even simple acknowledgement of God's presence throughout the day strengthens connection. Gratitude is not denial of difficulty, it is recognition of support. Chosen one, watch your inner dialogue. How you speak to yourself matters. Harsh self-talk fragments alignment. Compassionate honesty restores it. God's voice within you is firm but gentle. If your inner voice is cruel, rushed, or condemning, pause. That voice is not aligned. Alignment sounds calm, clear, direct. Another thing to remember is this: do not rush spiritual growth. Staying merged is not about reaching a permanent state where nothing ever affects you. It is about deepening stability over time. Be patient with yourself. Depth develops slowly, but it lasts. Also, avoid overexposing yourself to too many spiritual inputs at once. Constant consumption without integration leads to confusion. Let truth settle. Let insights mature. God speaks in layers, not floods. Chosen one, consistency matters more than intensity. Small, daily returns to presence do more than occasional emotional breakthroughs. The merge strengthens through repetition, not force. And finally, remember this: staying merged is not about you holding on to God. It is about allowing God to hold you. When you stop gripping and start trusting, alignment becomes effortless. You were not designed to maintain connection through tension. You were designed to live from relationship. As long as you choose awareness, humility, and presence, the source remains active within you. The world may stay noisy, but it no longer owns your inner space. In the final part, I will speak directly to your spirit and help seal what has already begun within you. Do not leave now. This closing will anchor everything you have received today. Conclusion: your return to the source is sealed. Chosen one, if you are still here, understand this clearly. You did not stay by accident. Something within you recognized truth. Something deeper than logic responded. And that response itself is confirmation. You listened because your spirit was already turning toward the source. Let me tell you something with certainty. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are exactly where you need to be for what God is doing now. This season of merging is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to who you were before fear, pressure, and noise distorted your center. What has begun within you today is not temporary. Awareness has been activated. Alignment has been restored. And the connection you feel right now will continue to deepen as long as you choose presence over pressure, trust over control, and stillness over noise. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to rush. God is already working from the inside. Your role now is simple. Remain aware, remain humble, remain open. Let the source lead instead of trying to manage everything alone. And when doubt rises, remember this moment. Remember the calm. Remember the clarity. Remember that God's presence does not leave. You only shift your attention, and you now know how to return. Before you go, chosen one, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon so you never miss what God releases next, and share this message with other chosen ones who are being called back into alignment. And comment 777 below to seal this moment, to declare that you are choosing union over striving, presence over fear, and alignment with the source God has always intended for you. Rest now. You are held. You are guided. And you are exactly where you belong.